When moving barns, what precautions can you take to decrease your horse's stress and make it as seamless as possible?
Oh, that kind of blends into the last question because keeping the food the same is the first step I would do. I would say when I'm moving, I would ask my two owners, can I take some bales of hay from this place and move them over? And that's going to relieve a lot of your horse's stress. Yeah, just don't go in the cover of night and take them. Done that, been there. So the food is the same, and the same with the grain. Try to. So that is out of the equation. You remove that. The next thing I would think about is keeping the schedule the same as best you can. I know if you're moving from, say, a pasture situation to a barn, or you're moving from a really big barn to a small place, you might not have a lot of ability for that, but as best you can, keep the feeding on the same time, keep the turnout the same. Like, don't go from no turnout or 30 minutes a day to 24/7. It's great.
Or big group to small group, or being alone to a big group.
Yeah, and to me the social dynamics are another whole thing in themselves. You have to be very careful when you introduce horses to each other, and hopefully the new place will say, we have a perfect group for your guy based on age and size and all that. And they'll work with you so that it's very safe. But there are some guidelines for that. I did have some other lists on here. Oh, this is a big one. Try not to do veterinary work like wellness care right when you move. Leave yourself about 2 weeks, whether it's...
So not like vaccines and then on the trailer.
No, because you need about 2 weeks for it to work. And with deworming the same way, because having the vet out, I don't know why, but it's also very stressful. and then you're asking the body to internally do some things, and so you don't want to shock its system completely by new food and new environment, new friends, and also here's a vaccine with like a 5-way to work up. So save that, do that earlier. Because you may also need a Coggins or a health certificate depending on how far you're going. And then don't add any new challenges, like don't move and immediately start in a lesson program or go to a show. So give your horse some time to adapt to all the new things, and then begin to add in even more new things. And that will at least not put a huge stress load on at one time, but sort of spread it out.
Yeah. So you talked about that there are some things that are just unavoidable. Like if you're changing from a totally different situation, you can't invent 30 acres of pasture at your new barn.
Not
if that's
yet.
What you had at your old barn. And so some horses also have to go into quarantine when they move, which can be really stressful because the horse is alone. They spend a lot of time in a stall. Are there any preventative or proactive things that horse owners can do if they're moving and they know their horse is going to be exposed to stress that they can't avoid? Is there any kind of support or things to be particularly mindful of? Are there areas of the body that are more stressed than others?
Well, horses... Their stomach seems to be where their stress sort of gathers and collects, and so that's the one organ that we think of, protect at all costs, because once that begins to be irritated or inflamed, then it just spreads throughout. So at the very least, that's why we talked about keeping the nutrition the same, but you may want to add on a gastric or even a hindgut support supplement to assist your horse during this transition period. That's good. In addition, talk to your veterinarian. You might want to go one step further and actually provide something like Ulcer Guard, which is omeprazole, which is an FDA-approved medication to prevent ulcers. That might be a good step, but I would have a conversation with your vet. Some horses don't need it, and others, even every time they go to a show, they need that support. So certainly moving barns, they'll be like, whoa, it's crazy. My stomach is, butterflies. So those are two things I would think of.
Yeah, and it's one of those ounce of prevention, sort of situations. It's really nice to be able to think about that beforehand rather than deal with weeks or months of something on the other side.
Yeah.